Hey, what's up guys? In this video, I want to show you how you can make a really interesting split semitone lead synth sound kind of in the style of Aphex Twin or Boards of Canada. Sounds something like this. Yeah, so basically that's the sound. I want to make a video about this because I found that you can make a lot of really great sounds just using Ableton plugins, not having to use a bunch of third-party stuff. And if you like the sound, you can get it for free. A link is in the description. But basically the sound is a split semitone sound. That's what I use for sounds that are using one oscillator that's set several semitones higher than the other one. And this is basically how you make it. Some people get confused about semitone split because they don't really know what sounds good. In general, with a riff that's using like a minor pentatonic scale, without getting into a bunch of music theory, 7 semitones is going to give you like a perfect fifth, which works extremely well, especially with a minor pentatonic scale. You could also use 5 semitones, which will give you a perfect fourth, which is basically the inverse of a perfect fifth. So it has a similar effect. And then I'm sort of dialing in the detunes here. You've got basic low-pass filters going on. The ADSRs are very similar. There's no delayed attack. It's really just filtering the sound. There's no resonance either. And then I've got some detuning going on. Not a whole lot else. Amp envelopes are a little bit different. You can see the settings here. The sawtooth, which gives a little more of the brightness of the sound, has a lower sustain point. And then there's just a low frequency oscillator, just a little bit going to this filter, adding some resonance on top. It's in sync mode, it's just adding a little bit of movement. The vibrato is doing a little bit of that as well. And then a big part of this sound is giving it sort of that analog flair. And I use vinyl distortion, dynamic tube, some glue compression here. And the settings are really important. You notice how I'm driving them really hard, but sort of dialing them in with the density and dry wet knobs. And then the glue compressor has got a very late attack, short release, and lower ratio. And that's kind of important because I feel like when people drag in the glue compressor, they just leave on the default settings, which aren't always right. This makes it a lot more transparent. It's only really compressing about 2 to 3 dB. You can see right here. And then finally, you've got the old stereo box. I use audio effect boxes all the time. I put them in my sample packs as well. This one's sort of meant to echo, pun intended, the chorus echo box that Roland made. So I actually own one of these, and this is kind of the sound that you'll get from them. You've kind of got like a cool plate reverby sound, and then you've got this interesting kind of darker ping pong delay. And this is how I made it. You know, I'm using some auto pan on the dry sound just to make it more stereo. And you kind of use these so you can dial in the sound and still have your dry chain unaffected. And then finally, everything goes through a saturator. And the saturator, again, you're kind of driving it a little bit harder so that all the sound, the dry part and the affected part with the reverb and the delay, it's all coming together. And that kind of unifies the sound and makes it feel complete, makes it feel whole. And one last thing, if you use a split semitone sound, it's really important to make sure that it's set to mono. You can set it to poly, but the sound is going to feel a lot more disjointed. As soon as you set something to mono, especially a busier lead line like this, it's going to make it cleaner sounding. Another thing is that you can actually take a semitone split and just add an octave to it. So when you add an octave, you're adding 12 to whatever you have. So if you wanted a perfect fifth, like an octave above a perfect fifth, this would be 19. That's basically the whole thing though. If you got something out of this video, learned a little something new, feel free to hit the like button or subscribe. Got a bunch of videos coming out just about this stuff. And if you like the sound, you just want to grab it right away and put it into your DAW, into your Ableton set, you can just do that. I've got a link in the description. You can get it for free. But that's basically it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and have fun making music.